تتوضع المنطقة العربية في الرقعة العالمية بما يتعدى الاقتصاد السياسي والتهديدات الأمنية. ماذا يتطلب؟ يتطلب مشاركة المرأة. I welcome to the stage وأدعو البارونة فاليري آموش مديرة كلية الدراسات الشرقية والإفريقية التابعة لجامعة لندن.
This is a region abundant in talent. However, the recent focus on global security challenges and concerns about the impact of violent extremism has overshadowed the positive changes which are taking place. Young people, particularly women and girls, have a key role to play in advancing inclusive economic growth, tackling environmental challenges, securing peace and stability in areas of conflict and instability, and promoting development through infrastructure investment and education. There is now a moment of opportunity when the critical challenges facing the region can be addressed within the broader context of shifting power dynamics across the world. I hope that that opportunity will be seized.
أيضا Her Excellency فاتو بنسودة المدعية العامة للمحكمة الجنائية الدولية.
As the first woman to assume the role of Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, I see firsthand the importance of justice for victims of atrocity crimes and the crucial nexus between accountability for atrocity crimes and sustainable peace, stability, and security. Women, who are often most affected in times of war and conflict, have an important perspective to bear in formulating solutions and addressing issues that affect their families, communities, societies, and indeed nations. To temper war and conflict, we must empower women. As ICC prosecutor, I have made the investigation and prosecution of sexual and gender-based crimes as a strategic priority for my office. We are also placing emphasis on how, through the Rome Statute, we can address the critical question of children in and affected by armed conflict. We all share a collective responsibility to expose these and other heinous crimes, hold perpetrators accountable, and crucially, give a voice to the victims. The Arab region and the wider Middle East must play its rightful role in promoting accountability for atrocity crimes nationally, regionally, and internationally. More states from the region must consider joining the International Criminal Court. Ending impunity for atrocity crimes is a challenge that no state or institution can face alone. Apart from political will and support, the legal profession can play a particularly crucial role in strengthening the rule of law and advancing the cause of justice. More women from the region should be encouraged to enter the field of international criminal justice and international human rights law. Overall, what is essential is that we must all work together to send a strong message that impunity for atrocity crimes will not be tolerated and that perpetrators will be held accountable. To this end, women from the Arab region, supported honorably by men, have a crucial role to play. Equality and empowerment for women is progress for all. I thank you.
المنسقة الخاصة للأمم المتحدة في لبنان سيغريد كاغ.
Good afternoon, Your Excellencies. I would like to speak briefly to the failure and the outcomes of the realization of the aspirations of the Arab Spring. The goals were political accountability, democracy, transparency, anti-corruption and realization of human rights, fundamental human rights for men and women, boys and girls. The failure to achieve this was largely due to the security-centered or solely security-centered response given by national governments, sometimes supported externally, and the absence of a coherent strategy to address the underlying causes of often long-standing instability. This has resulted in incomplete transitions and often, more often than none, a backsliding towards authoritarianism or recurrent violence within states and amongst. However, the region, and I firmly believe so, can and should, must, for its own sake, continue to transition out of instability towards meaningful, inclusive societies, addressing socio-economic norms and rights-based concerns of citizens, men and women, boys and girls. This is the response ultimately to the absence of security, issues of identity, and a meaningful address to concerns of extremist violence. In this context, I'd like to underline that the core problem is one also of marginalization, and to give voice and meaning to the expectations of those most marginalized. These can be minority groups under specific threat, poor, vulnerable, those excluded, and often, more often than not, it is women and girls who suffer mostly in situations of conflict. However, they can also be the agents of change and the leaders of that better future in their society, their families, and at the national level. There may be three asks I would like to put here to address, to go back to fundamental issues of rights, to give meaning to the voice and aspirations of women and girls, and has been echoed by the prior speakers. It is about he for she. Women can lead if and when empowered, supported, and encouraged. Women have to lean in, take the opportunity, and above all, the statistics of the Middle East since decades have shown women outperform the boys in the MENA region as they've done globally. They do good in primary education, secondary education. They outperform in universities. We have to help them make that leap into the workplace and political spheres of life. Women are the best peacekeepers. Women are also top mediators and negotiators. Give peace a chance. Use the women. Deploy them. Women of this region at any time. And I'm fully hopeful that better times will come because the region deserves it. It's rich. It's well endowed. Human capital are its women and the men. Thank you.
مارغري كراوس المؤسس ورئيس مجلس إدارة أبكو وورلد وايد.
Your Excellencies, very happy to be here. It's a long walk from the other end of the room, sorry. I'm here as an entrepreneur, and as an entrepreneur working across 30 global markets, I run the only global communications company that's majority women-owned. And in doing so, I'm constantly impressed by the stories of the fantastic women I meet and what they're doing to change their communities, their societies, and the world. Nowhere is that more important than the contribution that women are making in the Middle East. But it's the best-kept secret. From their contributions to the economy, to their innovations in high tech, to their focus on economic diversification and sustainability, to their commitment to quality education and health, Arab women have made a huge contribution. This is because they have a stubborn optimism, which I share, and they use it to move forward and bring along the rest of society. And that's needed now more than ever if we're to build a stable, peaceful, and prosperous region with broader opportunities and hope for the next generation. We won't be successful unless we can do this. So let's acknowledge and celebrate the roles these women have played and create more role models for the future. Thank you very much.
Nigar Göksel, International Crisis Group Senior Analyst for Turkey and South Caucasus.
Good afternoon. I'd like to start by taking the opportunity to acknowledge and appreciate the strong presence of women and the presence of strong women at this summit. It's a deliberate choice, clearly, and one that I appreciate. Education of girls and legislation for gender equality are indeed crucial, but these must go hand in hand with a much higher rate of women in the labor force. I've witnessed in Turkey that education and rights can make little real difference when women are totally economically dependent on their extended families or others. The opportunities to make real choices as an individual requires empowerment in the full sense, including economic. And incorporating women's potential into the labor force is, of course, also essential for economic growth. It's half the population. Thank you very much, and I wish that the rest of the summit as well, the women's voices will be heard as strongly as in this particular session. Thank you.
شكرا للسيدات على الصعيد الدولي. على الصعيد الإقليمي معالي سهير العلي النائب ووزيرة التخطيط السابقة في الأردن.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اسمحوا لي أن أقدم مداخلتي السريعة باللغة الإنجليزية. Real transformations need to occur to turn the current demographic challenges in terms of the youth bulge, unemployment, and brain drain into opportunities. We need to embrace a holistic, multi-pronged political, social, and economic development approach, one that creates an ecosystem that enables increased voice, representation, and accountability through active public civic engagement, while simultaneously implementing economic reforms that would ensure an enhanced business climate, productivity gains, and inclusive growth with equitable access to employment and social services. Women and youth must be at the heart of our development agenda to ensure we build peaceful, inclusive, and sustainable communities. Nothing can have a more profound impact on our future generations than investing in upgrading the quality of our education systems to become more focused on key hard and soft skills, particularly critical thinking, leadership, appreciation of diversity, both cultural and religious, media literacy, coupled with innovation, entrepreneurial, and business skills as key drivers of economic growth and value creation. Thank you.
سعادة الدكتورة حياة سندي عضو مجلس الشورى السعودي والرئيسة التنفيذية ومؤسسة معهد التخيل والبراعة.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. Your Royal Highness, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Around 30% of the world's scientific researchers are women, so the world has not achieved a gender balance. Although in the Arab region, 50% or more of the doctoral students in science are female, only a few go on to become scientific researchers in the private sector. Therefore, women are not only losing out by a huge margin, so is society. Thus, science and society is out of balance without the injection of women's creativity and vision. I believe the way forward is getting women more in the driving seat, because women's emotions are the best compass. They will reject nuclear war machines, killer laser beams, or fast cars. Rather, they will want cures for cancer, help for the aged, and robots to do dangerous jobs and more. For example, if strong compassion and empathy led to the development of the car airbag by a woman, their capabilities and capacity to care deeply will help the direction of science and our civilization to be preserved. So a simple step stands out. My message: to get women to lead the direction of science so that the direction resonates with the young women. This will bring into the power of science into business and roles of influence. Thank you very much.
الشيخة نادية الدوسري الرئيسة التنفيذية والشريكة في شركة السير الشرقية المحدودة في المملكة العربية السعودية.
I was actually going to read from a paper, then I noticed that everybody was saying the same thing. And during this last session, we're talking about something very important. And I mentioned that 10,000 years ago, men with their strong muscles ruled the world, and women stayed at home. And for generations, men led everything and wrote history. Now, everybody's talking about democracy, which I don't believe in, and I don't believe in revolutions. I do believe, however, that you give a chance to another party or another section of people to try their luck and try their methods. And there is no better than mothers and women all around you who have experiences and have led so many things. So I would suggest, along with the doctor before me, the Saudi doctor, is that instead of just letting women lead into science, is letting women lead. Try us for once and see the difference between how you lead and how we will do it, and then make your decision on giving us something or not. Thank you very much.
Thank you. أميرة اليحيوي مؤسسة جمعية البوصلة وسانتر 247. الدكتورة ابتسام الكتبي رئيسة مركز الإمارات للسياسات.
يقال أن تأتي متأخرا خيرا أن لا تأتي أبدا. أصحاب السمو والمعالي والسعادة، السيدات والسادة، أسعد الله مساءكم جميعا. قد أحمل جسم امرأة، لكني سأتكلم بعقل مواطن عربي. تقتضي إعادة تشكيل المنطقة العربية وفضائها الإقليمي والدولي في سياق التهديدات الأمنية والسياسية والاقتصادية. وجود رؤية متماسكة تقوم على 3 عناصر. أولاً، بناء منهجية للفهم والتفسير والتنبؤ قادرة على تمكين صناع القرار من امتلاك البدائل والحلول للتكيف والاستجابة للتهديدات القائمة والمحتملة. ثانياً، صياغة مفهوم للقوة يستلهم الأفهام المختلفة للقوة في العالم، بما يؤدي إلى تفعيل القوة الكامنة في بلداننا العربية وتحويلها إلى قوة فعلية. ثالثاً، تعريف واضح لمفهوم الأمن الوطني لكل دولة وتشابكاته مع الأمنين الإقليمي والدولي، وبالتالي تعريف دقيق للمهددات على ضوء ما سبق، وهو ما يعمل وأعمل على تحقيقه في مركز الإمارات للسياسات.